A whistleblower has reported to the Senate Judiciary Committee Democratic ranking member Dick Durbin that FBI Director Kash Patel's use of his jet, the government jet, the FBI jet, has harmed actual investigations. Katie, I want to separate one thing, which is to say one of the allegations here is something that we at MS Now, my colleague Ken Delaney and I, have been reporting on.
According to a whistleblower complaint reviewed by members of the Senate Judiciary Committee, FBI Director Kash Patel is facing allegations that his use of FBI aircraft may have interfered with an active investigation. The whistleblower claims that during a mass shooting incident in December 2025, an FBI evidence response team was unable to immediately access an available aircraft because it had been placed on standby under Patel's direction. As a result, investigators reportedly had to drive overnight from the Washington area to Rhode Island, causing significant delays in their response. The allegations have drawn attention in Washington, with lawmakers now requesting further review of whether FBI resources were used in a way that affected operational readiness. These claims remain allegations, and any findings would depend on official investigations.
Here, the whistleblower says that in December of 2025, when there was a mass shooting at Brown University, Kash Patel was on his government FBI director jet in Florida, we are told, and that there was only one other available jet. But Patel had ordered it to be put on standby for another team. And that meant that during this mass shooting, an evidence review team based in the Washington, Virginia area that would normally immediately respond to a major crisis, a major crime scene like this, was delayed. They could not use the plane. And instead, they drove through the night of the 13th and the early morning of the 14th to get to Providence, Rhode Island from Virginia. They happened to also drive through a snowstorm to get there, but they were significantly delayed, according to this whistleblower's account.
A new report has raised serious questions about FBI Director Kash Patel's leadership and its potential impact on national security. According to multiple current and former officials cited in the investigation, concerns extend beyond Patel's personal conduct and focus on whether operational effectiveness at the FBI has been compromised. Sources interviewed for the report describe a growing sense of alarm within the FBI and other national security agencies, particularly at a time when threats from Iran and other foreign adversaries remain a major concern. The reporting suggests that some officials fear leadership disruptions, staffing challenges, and communication problems could weaken the agency's ability to respond to emerging threats. Patel's team has strongly denied the allegations, and the claims have not been independently verified.
I think that is the center of this reporting, the through line of the reporting, and why I was able to kind of have this pattern documented at so many different levels, not just within the FBI, but outside of it, other national security agencies. This is a government-wide alarm that people are trying to sound because, again, they feel that the stakes right now are so high, particularly relevant to the threats that are coming from Iran, but also other actors that may sense this moment of weakness for the United States and take advantage of that. So yes, that is the key point, the key fear that underlines this story, and that I hear from everyone I talk to almost on a daily basis.
So, I want to separate the two issues because one may agree or disagree with the fact that he may be drinking. That's separate from the operational issues that a lot of people spoke to you about that were concerns. You write on multiple occasions in the past year, members of his security detail had difficulty waking Patel because he was seemingly intoxicated, according to information supplied to Justice Department and White House officials. A request for quote, breaching equipment, end quote, normally used by SWAT and hostage rescue teams to quickly gain entry into buildings, was made last year because Patel had been unreachable behind locked doors, according to multiple people familiar with the request. I quote this, Sarah, because this isn't a discussion about whether you think he should drink more or drink less.
New reporting indicates that FBI Director Kash Patel has dismissed multiple FBI employees who were connected to investigations involving former President Donald Trump. According to sources familiar with the matter, those removed reportedly included agents, supervisors, and support personnel linked to the 2022 Mar-a-Lago documents investigation. The move has sparked criticism from the FBI Agents Association, which argues that the dismissals undermine due process protections for career law enforcement personnel. The controversy comes amid broader scrutiny over personnel changes involving agents who worked on January 6th and Trump-related investigations. At the same time, new reports reveal that federal investigators obtained Kash Patel's phone records during the Biden administration while he was a private citizen, adding another layer to an already escalating political and legal debate surrounding the FBI.
But in total, we're told that these were 10 employees who worked for the FBI. So that ranges to actual agents, to support personnel, and even including supervisors. And the FBI itself has not commented on this beyond a statement from the FBI director himself, Kash Patel, who is speaking out about a matter that appears to be connected to this overall, which we're going to get to in a moment. But the White House isn't weighing in either. The only statement that we're seeing is from the FBI Agents Association that is expressing its dismay with the fact that these people now have been removed from their posts. Apparently, they say, in coordination with this investigation they were a part of. They write in this statement that they condemn the unlawful termination of FBI special agents, which, like other firings by Director Patel, violates the due process rights of those who risk their lives to protect our country. And the reference there to these other investigations is the idea that agents who were also involved in looking into people who rioted on January 6th have also been removed and fired, in addition to other agents who were involved in investigations that were looking into then candidate Donald Trump before he won the White House for a second time. Zinclay.
And Monica, there is also some reporting about the FBI obtaining Kash Patel's phone records during the Biden administration. That's when he was still a private citizen. What should we know there?
Yeah, so these firings.
House Judiciary Committee. Democrats have launched an inquiry into FBI Director Kash Patel's use of an FBI aircraft, focusing on whether certain trips were personal or official in nature. According to lawmakers, publicly available flight logs and social media posts appear to show Patel using the FBI's Gulfstream jet for travel that included visits connected to his girlfriend and other non-government destinations. The investigation is not disputing that the flights occurred. Instead, it seeks records and communications to determine whether federal travel rules were followed and whether reimbursement may have been required. Patel has argued that using the aircraft is a security necessity for the FBI director. Critics, however, point out that he previously criticized similar use of government aircraft by his predecessor, raising questions about consistency and accountability.
This is not a question of whether or not these things happened, but whether or not they violated some sort of protocol or set of guidelines for the use of the FBI director and this particular jet.
According to this inquiry from the Democrats on the Judiciary Committee, the social media posts by Patel's girlfriend show these trips happen, that open, accessible flight logs show the flights happen. The flight to Pennsylvania in October, the flight to Tennessee referenced, the one to Texas also referenced in the investigation by the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee. What they're arguing here is that they should have the flight logs, the names of passengers involved, the information and communication to and from the passengers involved with those flights to ensure there was no violation of protocols, of rules, of regulations. But the baseline issue here isn't whether the flights took place, it's the proper nature of the flights.
Right. Does an official in the government, like the FBI director, have access to this plane for any purpose, and is there a reimbursement requirement?
What the investigation is arguing is they want to get this information to see if there's a reimbursement requirement here, that this was a personal nature trip versus a work trip. But the FBI director, Patel, has been unambiguous since taking the post that he is taking the jet, the Gulfstream jet the FBI operates, because it's a requirement, a safety requirement in this supercharged threat environment. I think what Democrats have argued similarly unambiguously from the start is that Patel was one of the ones criticizing his predecessor for using.
Before you go, I want to hear from you. We've covered a series of allegations, investigations, personnel decisions, travel controversies, and internal concerns surrounding FBI Director Kash Patel. Some of these claims come from whistleblowers. Some come from current and former officials. Others come from congressional inquiries, media investigations, and public records, and in many cases, the allegations are strongly disputed by Patel and his supporters. But regardless of where you stand politically, there are some important questions that every American should be asking. Should government officials be held to the same standards they expect from others? If public resources, taxpayer-funded aircraft, or government authority are being used improperly, should there be independent oversight and transparency? And if accusations are made against a high-ranking official, should the public wait for verified facts before reaching conclusions? These questions go far beyond one individual. They go to the heart of how government institutions operate and how accountability is maintained. Some people believe these investigations are necessary and that no public official should be beyond scrutiny. Others argue that many of these allegations are politically motivated attacks designed to weaken officials who challenge the Washington establishment. So, where do you stand? Do you think these investigations represent legitimate oversight? Or do you believe they are examples of political targeting? Do the allegations concerning FBI aircraft usage concern you? Do the reports about employee firings raise questions in your mind? What about the claims regarding internal leadership issues and operational readiness? And perhaps the biggest question of all, should Americans be more concerned about the allegations themselves or about the possibility that government agencies are becoming increasingly politicized? I genuinely want to know your perspective. Take a moment and leave a comment below. I read your comments, and many of the best discussions happen in the comment section. Whether you agree, disagree, or have additional information, your viewpoint helps create a more informed conversation. If you're a current or former law enforcement officer, government employee, military veteran, legal professional, or someone with first-hand experience in these institutions, your insight is especially valuable. Let us know how these stories look from your perspective. Also, tell us this. Do you think public officials should reimburse taxpayers when government resources are used for personal purposes? Should there be stricter rules governing government travel? Should whistleblower allegations automatically trigger investigations? Or should a higher standard of evidence be required before official inquiries begin? These are important issues, and reasonable people can disagree. One thing we should all be able to agree on is that transparency matters, facts matter, evidence matters, and informed public debate matters. That's why we'll continue following these stories closely, tracking new developments, official responses, congressional actions, Inspector General reviews, court filings, and any verified evidence that emerges. As always, remember that allegations are not proof. Investigations are not verdicts, and headlines are often only the beginning of a much larger story. Stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, keep thinking critically. If you found this report useful, make sure to like the video. It helps more people discover independent coverage and supports the work that goes into researching and producing these updates. Subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future developments as these stories continue to unfold. And if you know someone who follows politics, government accountability, law enforcement, or national security issues, share this video with them and invite them into the conversation. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Your engagement, your comments, and your perspective are what make this community valuable. Now it's your turn. What's your take on everything we've discussed today? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start the conversation.